What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If this happens to be your first time here, my name is Dave. This is Scott's Toys, which is the YouTube channel that I love to share my passion for Lego investing and resale. And it's been a while since I've had an opportunity to do an update because I've been doing some crazy travel. It's kind of been the theme of this year. So far, it's August, I think mid-August. And I have been gone about 4.5 months this year already, which is insane for me. Usually I might make a week's worth of travel for my day job, maybe once a quarter, maybe a little bit less frequent than that. This year I've just had some projects that have really forced me to dive in and help out with, which has put me on the road a lot more than I intended, and that's why we've had a lot of sporadic video content. However, I am back home, and I want to be able to get you guys some videos so that I can share some of the cool stuff that's been happening, and you can get a little bit of an update if you've been following along the channel. That being said, if it is your first time here, I do want to recommend you go back and watch some old videos. I think you'll find some interesting content in those, and see some of the cool adventures that me and my family have gone on this year and all the years in the past for that matter. So with that said, we're going to start things off with a little bit of an update. I am currently in my garage, which I have set up as a vendor booth or a kind of a little mini Lego store. You can see here that I've got a fair amount of inventory. And recently, I actually had to pack up, I'd say about a third, maybe a little bit less, a quarter of the content from the garage because I went to the Lake Orion Comic and Toy Expo, I think is what it was called. It was at the Lake Orion Community Center, which is here in Michigan, kind of local to my area. And we had a cool comic and toy show. First one of those that I've done. I've oftentimes traveled with my wife for craft shows and farmers markets, things along those lines. I have shared a couple times in the past where I've set up my Lego booth during those, and they haven't necessarily been overly lucrative. I will say that this time, being a comic and toy show, I'd say I did pretty well. It wasn't an overly advertised place, so it was a little sporadic. You have these kind of bursts of people come through. Did end up having quite a bit of interest in Lego though. And I think overall, I don't remember the set quantity counts, but I did manage to sell roughly around $700-800 in just that single day, which for my first show kind of going to, I think it was a $10 or $20 booth. It was a fun way to kind of spend some time together with my wife. She sat there with me the whole time. And yeah, I got to meet some really interesting people, got to talk to other vendors there who will go around to much larger shows. And it was kind of crazy. I was talking with one guy. He shared with me that the Detroit, Metro City, Detroit City Comic-Con, something along those lines, whatever it's called, the big Metro Detroit area comic-related convention, the vendor booths there apparently cost around $2,000. And I was asking him a little bit, when you go to an event like that, do you raise your prices? Because that's a huge table cost or event fee to have to cover. In particular, he said some people do. He didn't because he just doesn't want to sink the time into going back and relabeling the pricing on everything. So for him, it was all about volume. It just seemed wild, and I thought that was kind of a crazy experience. I know some of the Lego conventions, the booths can range anywhere between $300 and $600 for a table, which that one I think I could maybe kind of wrap my arms around or my head around and find some value in. $2,000 though, I kind of said that I didn't think it was something that I'd be able to do. I'm not sure I'd be that confident that an event like that, I'd be able to move what I needed to. And I, much like him, don't have the time to go back and reprice everything. So anyways, just an interesting tidbit that I wanted to share with all of you. So we did the event, sold, I don't know, probably a couple dozen sets, something along those lines. Made some pretty good profit on those sets. Because it was attached to a little bit of a garage sale though. Outdoor they had a garage sale. Inside is where they had the Comic and Toy Expo. A lot of the people kind of went through and were more of the haggling mindset. So I did end up passing along some deals, a little bit less than what I was asking for some of the sets. But I was happy to move some of that inventory because, as you can see behind me, I have a large amount currently, and I need to keep it cycling and keep it fresh. And with as little as I've been home, I had to just kind of let the floodgates go on some of that a little bit. Now, some other things, Amazon has been performing fantastic for me. I've gotten, I think, 2 or 3 shipments in this year. And I think I've shared that in a previous video already. So if you want to see some more about what I sent in, or maybe the quantity of what I sent in, you can go back and find one of those. But I have been very pleased with the sales. It has started to dip off here over the last probably 2 or 3 weeks. And I think it's just because my online FBA inventory is starting to get a little bit thin, which means it's time for me to prep another Amazon shipment and get it in. It also happens to be coupled with us quickly approaching the Q4 time window. So my Amazon, I forget what you call it, account health or seller score, something like that, is up above the threshold that you need to be able to sell in Q4. So that's a huge bonus. And I'm going to try and send in a lot of stuff for Q4 so I can really crank out some big bucks this year. I think year to date, and this is just a little bit of the open, transparent conversation that I like to have with you, through Amazon alone, I want to say that I'm somewhere around 30,000 in sales, which isn't profit, but it is a fair amount of sales. I don't know the Bricklink number off the top of my head, but I have to assume that that's probably in the $3,000 or $4,000 range. And then local sales has definitely been a little bit less. I'd probably rank that in the $2,000 to $3,000. So I don't know. I think all in all this year, I might be staring at about $40,000 worth of revenue. However, I'm hoping that come Q4, I can double that, at least get to a point where that 30-40 can be in the profit margin range. So in order to hit that, I've got to get a lot of stuff in. I do have an area that I use to prep my shipments. I'm kind of looking into, I think in a previous video I mentioned some of the box damage items. So you can see here we've got some stuff that got returned because when an Amazon shopper purchased it, it came in a little poly bag mailer. Same thing here. You got a set that's got dented. Same thing here. You can see there's a big, there's a big crease in the back. So in order to prevent that, I think I'm going to take some of the more fragile sets and start pre-boxing them. I've seen a couple other people, it looks like that's kind of what they do. And for another buck or thereabouts, to get it properly boxed so that even if Amazon takes it, picks it up, scans it, throws it in a bag, I know the set will be protected. I'm thinking that will reduce the number of returns that not only go back to Amazon, but end up making their way back to me, and will result in some happier customers in the end. So that's one of the things I'm planning on looking into to try and get ready for my Q4 shipment. What else has been going on? So Scott has been doing all of my order pulling, so that's been fantastic. Been able to keep the Bricklink store open even while I was traveling. Same thing with the eBay business, the eBay side of things. We've sold just a little bit. It's been a pretty light year. Most of what I have on there, though, is all Christmas ornaments, which not Lego related at all, but just some tidbits for you, I suppose. In the Lego front, I have continued to go deep in my position in certain sets. As a matter of fact, I've got 36 of a set over here. It's a Lego City set. Came up through the Walmart online retail. It was, here, let me grab a set. It is set number 66772, which is the Big Wheel gift set. Kind of interesting that it does have its own Walmart-specific box. It comes with the tractor set and the construction loader, as well as the Scarecrow poly bag. And I think these are each $20 sets with a $5 poly bag, meaning that this thing has a value of $45. I did manage to find it on Walmart's website for 20 bucks. Normally I stay away from city stuff, but in this case, because it was over 50% off of the retail price of the sets, and I think the construction vehicles and tractors actually are something that continue to be marketable to people, I decided to go fairly deep in those. I went 36. I'm sure there's people that went a lot deeper than me. So I guess the last thing to note is that I did end up picking up a fairly large haul, which actually is a lot of the stuff that's out here right now, from a local seller. They were getting rid of their collection. I think it was somewhere in the $7,000 range, something like that. I did also ended up acquiring some fake Lego stuff, which normally isn't really my thing. I try and stay away from all of it. However, kind of to help them out and just to kind of explore and see what they were about, I did end up getting that stuff as well. It kind of came as one big lot anyway. So I do have some small things here, like a little racing set. I don't even know the brand on this one. I have them pretty well labeled that make sure that they are known that they're not Lego. A couple of them are knockoffs of actual sets. Ninjago City Docks. I think there's a haunted house, Ninjago City. So I do have some knockoffs of some of those things that, I don't know. We'll see if they end up selling. I don't really care for them myself. I'm not planning on building any. Worst case is I figure I can donate them to somebody who is maybe less fortunate, something along those lines to kind of keep it moving. But it was great finding the local seller because I was able to keep a lot of really cool, fresh inventory things coming in. I think that's where I got the bookshelf. There's a friend's apartment set. I don't know. There's so many different sets, and I haven't even gone through them all yet. I'm looking forward to kind of expanding my garage sale area for Q4. Hopefully we get a lot of local traffic as well as all the online stuff. So it is crazy hot out here, super humid today. And I've got a lot more work to do. I'm in the middle of pricing and restocking some shelves. So yeah, that's really kind of what's been going on with me. Next week, stay tuned. I have a video that we are going to go through Scott's investments. We're going to provide a little bit of an update on what he has in his investment log, how it's performed versus what he paid for it. And we have to go through all the money that he's been earning from the work he's been doing, so that he can take and put some of it in the savings, some of it in his investment fund, and grow his Lego backlog himself. So I'm tired, you guys. It has been a busy, crazy year, but I'm excited to be back and back into the hobby. Leave me a comment. Let me know down below. If you happen to run into me at the Lake Orion Comic and Toy Expo or show, go ahead and say hi in the comments. And I look forward to sharing more videos with you. It's always my goal to crank these things out at a consistent pace. And unfortunately, sometimes life gets in the way. But know that I do really enjoy this and the time that I'm able to share with you. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. I look forward to seeing you next week where we go over my son's stuff. We'll see you in the next video. Bye.